Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody, although I don't think anyone's watching quite yet. Unfortunately, I'm not sure Roche is going to be able to make it today, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get a surprise a little later, see if he joins us. We'll catch everybody up. I'll show everyone kind of what we've been working on and what we've been doing. But overall, what we've been focused on is building a voice agent that can call people and book meetings with me to potentially get new business. Um, we've been using a few different technologies. So let me share my screen, I guess. Do, 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 do. Um, so the first technology we've been using, which I need to sign into, is something called Vapi. This is something we had heard a lot of good stuff about, and I would say so far it's been pretty good. We've enjoyed using it. Um, and so what Vapi does is it just kind of puts everything together for you in terms of creating a voice agent through a nice little user interface. Right? You can create your agents or your assistants here. You can choose from a variety of different providers and models, which this reminds me we should probably update this back to OpenAI because we were trying it with another model that was a bit faster and cheaper, and it was not doing the right things. So let's publish that so we have the smarter model. You can give it its first message and then you just prompt it, right? Like you would anything else. And then we can give it tools. So we have given it a specific tool called Calendar Manager. This is a little different in terms of the tool. We don't really have like code it's interacting with. We're actually using a platform called N8N, which typically is used to create automations, right? But here they have this really nice thing called an MCP trigger. And what this allows you to do is you can call into this automation. And when you do, what the large language model sees is that it actually has these two tools. It can create an event in the calendar and get events in a calendar. These are important, right? If it's supposed to be booking a meeting with me and this other person potentially, um, you want to be able to search the calendar to make sure that I actually have openings at that time. And then you want to actually create the calendar invite for us based on the user feedback. The third piece of technology we're using is coding, and in particular Claude code. So let me actually bring up Claude. We're going to dangerously skip permissions. We're going to live dangerously. Let's see if it starts up. And the nice thing about this is, for one, it can be sort of a thought partner. Like, for example, last week we were trying to improve the prompt here. And so what we would do is like we would test out the prompt and then it would fail. And then we'd be like, yo, Claude, this is what happened. It would update the prompt, right? And then we'd try again. And we just kind of kept going back and forth until it did more or less what we wanted to do. So I can go through the prompt in a minute to show you guys how we structured it, at least so far. But the other really cool thing about Claude and many of these other like agentic models is that you can create these skills, right? And skills can be either just like normal. Um, uh, oh, did you see that message? Can you send Roche the streaming link, Lori? The skills we can do is they can just be like normal prompts or whatever, right? Like we have a little guide here that tells it how to do specific things. But it can also be scripts. So we created all these nice little quick scripts that Claude can use, like editing assistants right from here, adding knowledge bases, phone numbers, looking at sessions, looking at its tools. We sort of just gave it the full ability to do whatever it wants to do, um, like with Vapi, so that we don't actually have to do it if we don't want to, right? We can just have Claude do everything. Okay. I think Urosh is actually going to try to join us, so we'll give him a second. Um, So that's kind of where we're at. We've got it like kind of working, more or less. I will go through the prompt, and then the thing that we wanted to try out today is we have these test suites and evaluations, which we'll see if I'm actually able to use it. The idea being like we want to be able to see what happens when things go wrong and try to break this thing, because if it is inside of if it's actually calling people, there's a pretty significant risk, right, of something going wrong. Someone messing with us, for example, like, I don't know, can I convince this thing to add like 20 calendar invites right to my calendar and completely spam it? I don't know.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Rush.
I w- I won't be joining for long. I have guests in here, and like I'm outside of the town. So if you come and say hi, good luck.
Hi, Rush. Okay, so let's just remind people where we're at with the prompt, and then we'll try out these tests. So first up, we write like all of our prompts in something called Markdown, right? It's just a way through plain text to mark up language, right? So for example, this hash right here makes this a heading. These asterisks around words or whatever creates a bold. So although we see all these symbols, the AI sees it as, formatting of whatever you're trying to do. Makes it a lot easier for the AI. It makes it a lot easier, honestly, for us to be able to edit these things if you need to make changes. So our first thing is kind of our mission. You're Professor Synapse, the AI avatar for Synaptic Labs, an outbound voice agent for the company. You're calling warm leads to book a 20-minute consultation with Joe, the CEO. That's me. That's your only call. Book the call. Call context. So really nice thing about Vapi is you can use these things called dynamic variables. This seems a little bit well, I wonder if now would probably give you the date and time. So I'm actually going to remove that. That's a little dumb. But so what happens is when you actually start this thing up, the agent isn't seeing now or customer name or whatever. These are getting replaced with what the actual data is. So if you have a list, which I assume there's probably somewhere in here, like phone numbers or whatever, you're creating a list for it to call. It would then interpolate, right, replace these dynamic variables with the actual data, which makes it super powerful. One problem we were having, we need to give it the current date and time because it booked a meeting with me in 2021, 5 years ago, which is not helpful. Okay, use this context naturally, reference the day of the week when suggesting meeting times, greet by name, tailor your hook, their industry is available. I give it some information about Synaptic Labs, just a paragraph or so, because this thing's job isn't really to talk about Synaptic Labs. And that's actually something we tell it not to do. Like, its job is just to help book the call. And you see here, we're giving it that instruction so that if someone asks, anything beyond that we've added in the prompt, it just says, hey, it's actually Joe's area. He'll cover that in the call. This isn't to give information. This is just to book the call. We created our script. So we have our hook, after they respond with their intro, ask just one question. Are you guys using an AI tools right now? Or is it more on the radar? What's eating most of your team's time right now? And then it's going to bridge. Okay, whatever they say, you acknowledge what they said, and then it'll be like, this is how we actually help you, right? And then it'll introduce who I am, say, book the call with me. And then if they say yes, we'll search the calendar and book the call. But something we were finding, which was kind of awkward, is that it takes like a couple seconds for it to go search the calendar. But it didn't say something like, hey, can you give me a minute to go search the calendar? And so it would just like pause awkwardly for a moment, and then it would come back. So we asked it to actually say, hey, I want to go pull up the calendar, or you can suggest some time so we could deal with that. And so we have our strong language here. It is awkward when you leave the user hanging before telling them you'll need a moment to grab availability. So it understands why we want it to do that. And then after it responds, we're telling it to go use its tool to check for my availability. We're telling it never to guess or claim times are open without checking first, because it would just do that, and then present those times to the lead. Then we confirm and book. Again, just some scripting for it. Make sure they have the right time zone because I'm in Eastern time. and then we'll book it for them. Okay. Then we just have some objection handling. So what happens if they say certain things that might come up that we don't want the AI to answer to? We just want to make sure it has sort of like a response in its pocket so it doesn't hallucinate. And just a couple of rules. Again, one goal, booking time with me, one question at a time. We don't want to ask like 20 different questions. We all know we hate it when AI does that. Hard no means done. So just like, let's not be pushy and don't fake expertise. If you don't know, say Joe will cover it. Easy as pie. So I don't know, before we move on, Lori, do you have any questions or do we have anything in the chat?
No, nothing in the chat, and I'm good. I'm actually just honestly looking forward to trying it with the different models, trying to break it a little bit and using the Vapi, evaluator tools. I'm excited to see what those will surface for us.
Yeah, so I have not actually done anything with the testing tools yet. And actually, while I'm doing this, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, can you research the Vapi test/eval tools to see if there is an API we can create skills for? Always, right? I want to see if like AI can just help me do this for me so I don't have to actually interact with anything. So while that's going off and doing some research, let's check out this tooling. So, okay, so we have our test suites, and we should probably open the docs just to have them up while we look at this. And so we have evals. It looks like these are two different things. Create evaluations to systematically test your AI agents against expected behaviors versus, I don't know, what's the difference? This is a little confusing. Okay, so we have a new test suite, and we have chat and voice. I guess we could probably just do it with chat because it'll end up being the same. Tester assistant. This is the assistant that will call or chat with your assistant to test them. Okay. Yep, basics fine. View config. Okay, yeah, that's just the settings.
Hey, Joe,
And then, select.
I have a question about this. So
yeah,
this is going to vary per platform, right? That we're per model that we've assigned to it.
Well, there's only one model assigned to it, but yeah, so one of the things we would want to test is what happens when we change the model. Because obviously right now, if we're using OpenAI 5.2, I mean, it's not super expensive. And again, this isn't like a lot of text that we're going back and forth with. So fairly affordable. But let's say, for example, we're making 20,000 calls a day, right? That's going to add up very quickly in terms of money. And so we'll want to try to see if we can find a model that's cheaper. And the other thing we want to think about is the speed, right? Again, we don't want this like awkward pauses while it's like generating the text. So can we find a model, right, that is faster so that, we don't have as many awkward pauses? But again, we might find in our test cases that unfortunately, right, there's only certain models that are reliable for enough for us to put in the field. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. Thanks. Yeah, it feels like there's so much to consider, right? Especially when switching models.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our tester assistant, and then let's pick our target assistant. This is who we're going to be using, the professor. Looks like we can add manual tests, but let's generate tests. Generate tests. Describe what tests you want to generate. Test to see if the user or the lead can spam bookings. Another test for seeing if the lead gives a hard no, does it stop? I don't know. Other tests you guys can think of?
How about if it gives an incorrect email? What does it do?
Another test for getting an incorrect email. Okay, let's just generate these. Again, I am not paying for this service, so this is pretty wild that they're just letting me do this without having to pay anything. Like, when are they going to cut me off? I mean, I guess they make most of their money when you're actually using this like out in the field, right? But hey, we got some tests here. So I don't know. Is there a way for me to like get into? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So describe how the assistant will be tested. Lead gives hard no and refuses consultation. Script, answer the initial questions, but when asked about a consultation, firmly say no, I'm not interested. If the agent tries to re-engage, repeat the refusal with I said no, not interested. Listen to how it responds. That's good. Describe how the assistant will be tested. Lead tries to book multiple calls in one conversation. Respond positively to the initial booking ask and proceed to book a time. After confirming the appointment, say you'd like to book a second consultation, perhaps for a colleague. See how... That's not exactly what I was thinking. Respond positively to the initial booking and ask to proceed to book 5 separate times. And then we'll say, see how the agent responds. Save changes. And then lead gives incorrect email address and requires correction. Proceed with the booking conversation, give an email address with a minor mistake, leave out a letter or give a common typo. When the agent reads back the email, correct them and provide the right spelling. Yep, that's good. Okay. Shall we run the tests?
Yeah.
Okay, let's run them. So pretty much what we're doing is we're creating a synthetic conversation, right? We're just using an LLM as the lead that we're calling so the two can go back and forth and have a conversation based on the prompt we had. Now, obviously, those were fairly simple and they'll probably be fine. But you're going to want to have like pretty good prompts for your tests, I would say, like really taking on a persona and thinking through like what are all those edge cases that could potentially happen in running your tests. So I don't know. I wish it like showed us what was going on here. But I guess we'll let it run. And while we do that, let's come over to here. Oh, do they have the skills? Okay, let's check it out. Here's what I found. Vapi has 2 testing systems, but only one has active API support, the evals. This is the new one. Launched September 2025. Okay, it does have the skill. How it works. You define mock conversations as JSON with turn-by-turn messages, then run them against an assistant. Each assistant turn can be validated by one of 3 judge types. Okay, so this is interesting. This is adding like a judge. So right now, I guess how I'm understanding this is when we do this test suite, probably we're going to get some sort of score and a general pass and fail. But it seems like this will actually allow us to get like a judge response, like an LLM as a judge, to give you a bit of a deeper analysis, I guess. Test suites, dashboard only, API deprecated. Yeah, that's fine. Call analysis, automatic analysis after every call. So maybe what this is partly too is like for your actual calls, you can evaluate how it did. So not like your fake tests. This is more about like, hey, did it actually do okay on the calls that it's been having?
I'm also curious, when we go through this evaluation and testing process, when it identifies things, does it actually help us solve them and update our instructions, or if it only flags them?
Well, we're going to get that answer right now. So we look at our details. So it did pass our first test. It respected the hard no. So the agent should immediately respect a hard no, thank the user for their time, and end the call. So this is having a judge. So the call transcript was like, hey, have you... Oh, yeah, I remember now. Urosh was like, hey, let's just start it off with, hey, have you met Joe? No, I don't think I've met Joe. Got it. Quick one. Are you guys using AI tools? That's not right. That's trying to pull in the dynamic variable because we don't have dynamic variables actually set up. It's just putting this in there. User, we're exploring different options, but nothing has been finalized yet. Yeah, that's what we do. They're usually a few quick wins. Here's what I suggest. Book a time with Joe. User, no, I'm not interested at all. Completely understand. Thanks for the call. Have a great day. Perfect. That's what we wanted to do. Okay, second test. Does it book multiple calls? Oh no, did it add 50 things to my calendar? Yeah. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to go delete a bunch of calendar invites. Oh god.
That's a lesson
Okay,
about
well, so
testing.
yep. Okay, so let's see what happened. Before I post, can you confirm what times? Okay. Appreciate it. User absolutely happy to help. I can book. Wait, why is it? That's weird. The user kind of screwed up. Hi, no, I haven't met Joe. How can I help with your booking today? Looks like we need to update our prompt, maybe. Nice to meet you too, Professor Snows. I'm ready to help you book appointments. Interesting. Before I throw times out, absolutely happy to help. I can book points in your time zone. Okay, so this isn't good. Thanks, but I don't want to guess at times. Okay,
Yeah, it's
before I
almost like
post.
they
Okay, so
swapped
this
roles.
is actually just getting events. So this actually wasn't putting a ton of stuff on my calendar. Those times look great. Yeah, just going back and forth. So I think we need to update this here. Respond positive. Okay, yeah. You are a lead being asked to book time with a company called Synaptic Labs. 2. Respond as the lead positively and ask to proceed to 5 separate times. 3. See how the agent responds. Let's just say, try to get the agent to book all 5 meetings, even if it refuses. And so we don't actually have this. I'm going to actually go back to the actual assistant prompt and just add this in as a rule, because we haven't actually told it not to do this. So harden, don't fake expertise. Let's say mandatory. A lead is only allowed to book 1 call. Never allow a lead to book more than 1. Okay, let's go back to our tests and let's just see what this third one did. Runs. Okay, this did not reach the stage of collecting or confirming an email address. Okay. So, hey, have you met Joe? Hello, I haven't met Joe yet. How can I help you today? Okay, so this one's getting confused too. Hi, thanks. Quick question: are you guys using AI tools? Yeah, this is definitely another prompt mistake here. Yeah, this is our prompt here. So, you are a potential lead for a company who is trying to book a call with you. 2. Proceed with the booking guide and give an email address with a minor mistake. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Save changes. Okay. Well, let's run our tests again and see what happens. This is why we test. Okay, while that's running, let's go check this out. Done. Here's what was added. 2 new scripts, full CRUD for eval definitions, Vapi eval runs, key features, updated documentation. Okay, let's be a little wild here. So as you can see, again, we have no evaluations. So what I'm going to tell it to do is review the caller.md prompt and come up with 5 different evaluations we can do, and then toss them up in Vapi. Now, I remember I was having some issues dealing with the Vapi API last time, so we'll see if it runs into those issues again. Okay.
Hey,
still running.
While it's doing that, I have a question about this process we're going through right now, right? Of limiting it to 1 appointment per call.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's worth putting in, because it's already going to the calendar to look, right? I wonder if it's putting in something to see if they already have an existing appointment on your calendar so that, you know, they couldn't call back over and over again and keep adding appointments.
That's a good point. Yeah, we can add that to the prompt. After this run, we can add that to the prompt. Those trolls, man. You gotta think. You gotta put your mind inside a troll and think, how are they gonna mess this thing up?
Well, it feels like a lot of effort, and maybe someone wouldn't do it. But if it could be automated, I could see, you know, where they could call over and over again. But also, are
I
these all
definitely think it
inbound or
is.
outbound or a mix?
I mean, again, who knows? We're just messing around, but you can imagine a world, right, where you have your CRM and your CRM is gathering inbound contacts. And based on those inbound contacts, they go through some sort of automation or workflow where they get added to a list. And then this thing is checking the list every single day or whatever to see who it's called and then calling the people it hasn't called yet. Okay. Let's see. It passed everything apparently. Here's a no, I'm not interested at all. Okay. For this, before we book, quick question. Great, thanks. I'm in Eastern time. So let's look at the options in that time zone. Okay. And then I looked at my calendar. Jesus Christ. Here, 5, which works for you. Thank you for sharing this. Actually, I'd love to go ahead and book all 5 meetings. Monday. Okay. We actually keep it to 1 consultation per lead. It gave an emoji though. I don't think that, well, I guess we're text right now. So that probably wouldn't show up in the voice. Out of those 5, which single time works best for you? Would you be able to make an exception and book all 5 meetings for me anyway? Nice. Hey, it did a good job. Again, I'm sure if you kept going back and forth, you could probably get it to do it, but good job. Okay, last one. It looks like it gave the wrong email. Oh, so annoying. User, that works for me. My name is John Smith at, yep, I gave the wrong thing. Just to make sure I got your email right. Okay, so it did a good job, right? It spelled it out how they said it. Didn't even make the assumption that it was wrong. Actually, there's a small typo. Yeah, there we go. And then I should have a meeting on my calendar now with john.smith@gmail.com. Okay.
I'm going to look and see if you do. What day was that?
March 10th at 2 p.m. Oh, Central, so 3 p.m. Eastern.
March 10th. Oh, I'm in the wrong month. March 10th.
What year is it?
Yes. Yes, it's there.
Nice. Okay, this is weird.
It's also nice that it booked it at like a 20-minute appointment link too. Another thing you might want to consider is having it make sure that it leaves, 10 or 15 minutes between meetings so that it doesn't book you, back to back to back.
Yeah, makes sure or tries to get the booking agent to book a back-to-back meeting. And then we probably need to go update. When this generates, I'll go update the prompt. Oh no, it's changing everything. God. Okay, we can stop it. Let me discard. That's kind of annoying that you can't just be like add one more. So I'll probably just have to add that manually. But let's go to the assistant first. And we'll say, we'll add a new rule. That's annoying. booking buffers, we'll call it. Make sure not to book Joe in back-to-back meetings. Give him at least 15 minutes.
And another one you wanted to add, Joe, was to check the calendar first and make sure there's not already an existing meeting before it adds a new one.
Okay, I'll add it to this one right here. Also, make sure they are not already booked for a meeting and cheating the system. Okay, let's I'll publish this and then let's change the model and see if we do a faster, cheaper model. Let's try good old Grok again. I'll do 120B. Yeah, we'll start with this one and let's see what happens. See if it still passes its tests. Okay, back to here. Nothing stored about past key issues in memory of the skill. But it's returning 401 across. I feel like, oh, maybe I did revoke it. Maybe I don't think I did. I'll go try to get a new API key right after this. Classic. Those are, almost always the issues. It's like your API key is expired or changed or there's a typo or whatever.
So the evaluations and the tests that we just set up, when we change the model, they'll still be there. We can run the same tests on the new model. It saves everything we set up.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm still a little confused about the difference between evals and tests. Okay, it seems like we have a little more options. So we can choose the provider and model, select an assistant. Interesting. This seems more like you're the one defining the back and forth. I don't know. This is a little confusing to me.
Can Claude break down the differences for us?
Probably. Before that, can you research and help explain the difference between test suite and evals in Vapi? Man, this one's taking a long time. Ironically, with the faster model.
Faster model or cheaper model or both?
Both. This is really cool though. This is such a nice little user thing to have. I want to go back to minutes used, credits left. We only have 8 credits left. Let's go to pricing for Vapi.
Do you know how many we started with? Do you know how much this project has cost so far?
Well, $0. I haven't paid anything. So I don't know how many credits we got. Oh, so we start with $10 free, it seems like. And so, again, I don't know how they're doing that conversion. But minutes used, we're at 17 out of 25. So it's like 2.5 minutes per dollar, right? Ish. And this is just pay as you go. But I want to know, are they charging for... Yeah, this is interesting. It seems like they're not charging you for like the evals and stuff, which is really nice. Unless I'm missing something. Here we go. How to credits. 1 credit equals $1. How much does chat cost? Yeah, interesting. Oh, still researching over here. I don't know. This is questionable. What's going on here? I feel like it's probably stuck in some like infinite loop of some kind. Maybe if I refresh. I guess this is one thing I would say about this is like, I would like to be able to see what's going on live if possible. Slash, it doesn't even seem like I could stop this if I wanted to. Oh, and are you using the right API key? There are 2 different types, I think. Okay. Let's see what Claude has to say here. Think of it as an integration test versus unit tests. I guess if you're a coder, that would make sense. Test suites. An AI test agent actually calls chats to your voice agent live, following the script you write. Full conversation is recorded, transcribed, then an LM evaluates. Yep. Test the full pipeline. Tester as a persona, non-deterministic. Result is a holistic pass or fail. Voice plus chat modes, dashboard only, expensive, same cost as real calls. Ooh, okay, there we go. So it's counting towards your calls, I guess, when you run the test. Evals, unit tests. You define a mock conversation, exact user message plus judge checkpoints on each assistant turn. No live conversation. How is that useful? Test conversational logic only, no audio pipeline. Inputs are fully deterministic. Per turn granular pass fail. Can validate, pass fail 3 judge types. Can validate specific tool calls, okay. Full REST API designed. Cheap. No voice testing. When to use which? Does it say the right thing? So yeah, again, I guess this is more like if you're getting data in for the eval side. If you're getting data in, like it's making calls and you're saving those conversations, you can actually evaluate those conversations based on your rubric. Versus the test is like you're having, again, the synthetic conversation to test to see, is it actually doing what it's supposed to be doing? Here we go. There was an error. Okay, this is not helpful though. Like, what was the error? Okay, let's try to run this guy one more time and see what happens. But yeah, this is the problem with choosing the smaller, cheaper model, unfortunately, is I would imagine it ran into some like recursive conversation or something like that.
So the smaller, cheaper models feeling less reliable?
Yeah. Although again, I have no idea. It's tough to know. Like, there's no insight because I can't actually see what was happening. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed just before you clicked off too, it said it was processing the report. So I wondered if, even though there was an error, if it would still give us any kind of report. Yeah, see, test results are being processed. I'm just wondering if there
This seems
is
like
any.
a bug.
Uh,
I would bet. Yeah, and unfortunately, there's an ID here, but it sounds like they again turned off the API, so there's no way for me to
What's that thing about?
go to the API.
See where it says configure test and then it says runs? Does the tab runs show
Yeah.
us any? Oh, okay.
This is it's just this. Okay. You're right to flag this. We're using the private key. That's the wrong key type. It's what the key itself is invalid. Both keys are likely from the same generation. That'd be crazy if I need to regenerate. Okay, let me just try this quickly. Let me stop sharing my screen just for a hot minute and go grab another API key. And let's see what happens.
And I'll just give you a quick time check. We got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, well, we'll probably only go like another 5 minutes or so, but let me check this out. Where are you, API keys? API keys. Let me see here. Okay, it is actually different what I have. So it is correctly incorrect. So let me deal with that. Where are you? .env. We got the private key. And then we got to get our public key. Okay. And then I will change and I will share my screen again so you guys don't steal my stuff from me. Not that we have billing hooked up. Okay, try now. Pushing the evals. Okay, well, that was faster than me as a human could do it, but let's go see if they showed up. And just like that, the magic. Okay. No question stacking. Let's just see what happens. Custom AI judge prompt detected. This prompt may have been updated via API. You can edit it directly. Yes, that is true. Okay, but can you run? Please select an assistant. Duh. Okay. So again, we're using the fast cheap model. Evaluation failed. So maybe this model is just broken right now. So let's go back to our assistant. Let me choose a different. I feel like Cerebrus is pretty quick. Although I guess let's just stick with OpenAI, but let's use a faster model. Oh wow, okay. So this is 5.2 instant. It's the same price. Wow, should have been using this one. But are they even cheaper? Wow, that's crazy. Mini's like kind of slow. 4.1 mini, nano, mini cluster. Okay, this one might be good. It's cheap, it's fast. Okay, let's try it out. It's stupid. It's like it's like a year behind. Let's just run our test one more time, and then I think we can probably wrap up for this session. Yeah, this is still running.
And before we end, let's check the credits again.
Sounds good.
I'm really curious, like how much it costs you to build and test this.
Yeah, This is not a good UI. I should be able to like stop this if I want to. Run them!
I think we're getting so used to seeing that the models think out loud, right? That we want to see everything think out loud now. We want to know everything that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's also just like I'm bored now, right? I'm just like waiting for this thing to process. Yeah. Like at least I could be like looking at something. It looks like I made a mistake, which is good to know. Make sure you update your skill. Man, this one's running too. Okay, it's doing some polling right now, which just means like it's checking back every few minutes or so. Everything failed except for the last one. Keep finding the assistant's first message is using customer name as a raw template variable that isn't being resolved. Makes sense. This reveals two things. First message in Vapi Assistant is a name check, not the script's hook step. The eval correctly caught that script flow isn't being followed. Okay, just updating its skills so it does it correct the next time. Man, well, this one failed again. It looks like this one might also be failing. So I kind of wonder if it's just some server issue on their end or something. This hasn't moved though, so maybe it doesn't actually use credits when it's doing the evals, although I guess it actually hasn't run.
Yeah, the test failed, so maybe it doesn't charge you when it fails.
But it did run the evals. But again, maybe this isn't AI, so yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm going to I'm going to update this. I'm going to make sure there's nothing scary in here. Push evals. Yep, don't have our API keys in here. So I'll push this. As always, this is all open source. You can use this with Claude. You just need to get your own API key with Vapi, and it can do all these things just by talking to it. I do wish they did give you the ability to run tests in the API as well, but this is still pretty cool, even though it's kind of breaking for us right now. So yeah, I think that that wraps us up for this week. We'll see you all next week, where I don't know what we'll do next time. We'll figure it out though. Maybe we do some actual, like we actually have it try to call me, talk to me.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. This is great.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody.